Hello, welcome to series of lectures in botany. Today I am going to talk about physical and chemical properties of water. You might be knowing that water covers about 71% of the Earth's surface and is vital for all known forms of life. Only 2.5% of the Earth's water is fresh water and 98.8% of that water is in ice and groundwater. Less than 0.3% of all fresh water is in rivers, lakes and the atmosphere, and an even smaller amount of the Earth's fresh water, that is 0.003%, is contained within biological bodies and manufactured products. What makes a water molecule? Water is made of millions and millions of tiny water molecules. A water molecule is made up of 3 atoms, 2 of which are hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Dihydrogen monoxide is the scientific name for water, though it is almost never used. In a water molecule, the hydrogen atoms are joined to the oxygen by means of 2 covalent bonds. Here in this picture, if lines are drawn from the center of each hydrogen atom to the center of the oxygen atom, the angle made between these 2 lines is 105 degrees. The oxygen side of the water molecule with the unbonded electrons is more negative than the hydrogen side. In this way, the water molecule is a polar molecule. The surprising truth about water is that this abundant compound does not behave like the most substances. Because of its particular physical and chemical properties, water is important for existence of life on this planet. Physical properties of water. The major physical properties of water are molecular weight. Water can exist in 18 different isotopic forms. The lightest elemental form of water, which is common, has a molecular weight of about 18 grams per mole. The heavier isotopes of water with molecular weights ranging from 19 to 24 are extremely rare and may not be as biologically active as standard water. Color. Water is transparent in the visible electromagnetic spectrum. The colorless nature of water enables high transmission of visible light through the seawater or any other large or small bodies of water. This property of water is very beneficial for the aquatic plants, which can photosynthesize even if they are submerged at a considerable depth. Melting point. What is melting point? A melting point is the temperature at which a solid changes into liquid. The melting point for water is 0 degree centigrade. Boiling point. The temperature at which liquid changes to gas is called the boiling point. The boiling point of water and all other liquids is dependent on the barometric pressure. For example, on the top of the Mount Everest, water boils at 68 degree centigrade. compared to 100 degree centigrade at sea level. The high boiling point of water is due to the attraction of water molecules to each other by hydrogen bonding. For a water molecule to escape from the liquid phase into the vapor, it must acquire not only sufficient kinetic energy but also an extra quantity of heat energy to break its hydrogen bonds with other water molecules. The effect of the higher boiling point of water and the larger difference between the melting and boiling point makes water molecules to exist as a liquid over most of the Earth's surface. The latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization is the energy needed to separate molecules from the liquid phase and move them into the gas phase at constant temperature. For water at 25 degrees centigrade, the heat of vaporization is 44 kilojoules per mole. That is the highest value known for any liquid. The heat transfer of the earth which drives the water cycle is dependent upon heat of vaporization and condensation of water. Liquid water absorbs heat at one place and then the water vapor is transported due to evaporation to another place where it cools and condenses. Evaporation also dissipates around 23% of the heat of solar radiation, thus moderating and stabilizing the Earth's surface temperature without appreciably changing ocean temperatures. Latent heat of sublimation. Sublimation is the direct change from solid to vapor without going into liquid phase. The latent heat of sublimation of water is 51 kilojoule per mole at 0 degrees centigrade. Dielectric constant. Water has a very high dielectric constant with a value of about 78 at 25 degrees centigrade. This high value is because of the fact that water molecule is a polar molecule and has a dipole moment. Under a given electric field, water tends to polarize strongly, cancelling the effect of the electric field. One of the important physical property of water is specific heat. What is specific heat? Specific heat is the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree centigrade. Water has the highest specific heat capacity of any known liquid. This is because a lot of the heat added to water is used to break hydrogen bonds and not to increase the motion of the water molecules, causing a temperature change. This unusual property allows water to moderate Earth's climate by buffering large fluctuations in temperature. Density. The density of water means the weight of a certain amount of water. As you know that water appears in nature in all three common states of matter and may take many different forms on Earth: water vapor and clouds in the sky, sea water and icebergs in the polar oceans, glaciers and rivers in the mountains, and the liquid in aquifers in the ground. Water is a liquid at standard temperature and pressure. The maximum density of water occurs at about 4 degrees centigrade. It has the anomalous property of becoming less dense instead of more denser when it is cooled down to its solid form of ice. It expands to occupy 9% greater volume in this solid state, which accounts for the fact of ice floating on liquid water, as in icebergs. The density characteristics of water are very important for freshwater lakes. In very cold weather, you might have noticed that ice forms on the surface of the most ponds and lakes, but the water near the bottom never seems to freeze. The reason for this is due to the density of water. As you know, water is at its heaviest at 4 degrees centigrade, so it sinks to the bottom of the lake. The colder water floats on top and turns to ice when it reaches 0 degree centigrade. Ice is a good insulator and acts like a blanket to stop the water near the bottom from freezing. So, the lake creatures like fishes can swim around near the bottom. Also, upon freezing to ice, water expands in volume by about 1/10 and exerts a pressure of 33,000 pounds per square inch. It is this pressure that bursts water pipes in freezing weather. Cohesive and adhesive forces. The extensive hydrogen bonding in water also gives rise to the property known as cohesion, which means the mutual attraction between molecules. Water is the most cohesive among the non-metallic liquids. A related property called adhesion is the attraction of water to a solid phase such as cell wall or glass surface. Cohesion, adhesion and surface tension gives rise to a phenomena known as capillarity, that is the movement of water along a capillary tube. Cohesion gives water a high tensile strength, which is defined as the maximum force per unit area that a continuous column of water can withstand before breaking. Surface tension. Water has a very high surface tension, much higher than most liquids. It is 73 dynes at 20 degree centigrade. The hydrogen bonds in water cause it to have a high surface tension. The hydrogen bonds make the surface water molecules behave like stretchy skin, resulting in the phenomena known as surface tension. This phenomena plays a major role in the formation of drops in clouds and in rain. Also, some kinds of beetles, water bug and free floating plants live only on the surface skin of ponds and lakes. Another physical property of water, that is viscosity. The resistance to flow of liquid is called viscosity, and it determines the mobility of water. When the temperature rises, the viscosity decreases. This means that water will be more mobile at high temperatures. Water has a viscosity of 1 centipoise at 20 degree centigrade. Dear students, now we will discuss the major chemical properties of water. Water molecule is polar in nature. What do you mean by a polar molecule? The structure of a molecule of water is not linear but V-shaped. The angle between two covalent oxygen and hydrogen bonds is 105 degrees. The angled shape of the water molecule allows it to form the intermolecular bonds that gives water its unusual property. Well, oxygen is unique, and oxygen is unique in that it is almost the most electronegative all among the whole periodic table. The most electronegative is actually the fluorine, and oxygen is next to that. Well, we will talk about what actually electronegativity means. Electronegativity means how much you want electrons. So, we think of valence electrons of oxygen. Remember, oxygen has 6 valence electrons. It would love to have 8 and needs just 2 more electrons to get that stable configuration. If we look here, oxygen is attached to 2 hydrogen atoms. Oxygen is highly electronegative. So, what it can actually do is it can share electrons with hydrogen atoms. It does not form ionic bond, but it shares its electrons unequally. So, it is nearly polar molecule. What does it mean? It means that on one side of the molecule, that is on this oxygen side, it can actually have a negative charge, and on the other side it has a positive charge over here at hydrogen. As a result of that, whole molecule has a charge. Water molecule forms hydrogen bonds. An important consequence of the polarity of the water molecule is the attraction of water molecules with one another. The attraction between one of the slightly negative oxygen atom of one water molecule and the slightly positive hydrogen atom of another produces a hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonds are relatively weak. The hydrogen bond is about 10% of that of covalent bond due to overlaps in the bonding orbitals and about 90% of that of electrostatic bond. Water molecules stay close to each other due to collective action of hydrogen bonds between water molecules. These hydrogen bonds are constantly breaking with new bonds formed with different water molecules. At any given time in a sample of liquid water, a large portion of the molecules are held together by such bonds. The sum of all the hydrogen bonds between water molecules confers great internal cohesion on liquid water. The nearly tetrahedral arrangement of the orbitals about the oxygen atom allows each water molecule to form hydrogen bonds with as many as 4 neighboring water molecules. Ionic and polar substances readily dissolve in water. Since water is a polar solvent, it readily dissolves most biomolecules which are generally charged or polar compounds. The compounds that dissolve easily in water are hydrophilic. In contrast, non-polar solvents such as chloroform and benzene are poor solvents for polar biomolecules, but easily dissolve those that are hydrophobic, which are non-polar molecules such as lipids and waxes. Water dissolves salts such as sodium chloride by hydrating and stabilizing the sodium and chloride ions, weakening the electrostatic interaction between them, and thus counteracting their tendency to associate in a crystalline lattice. Non-polar substances are insoluble in water. The molecules of the biologically important gases, that is carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, are non-polar. In oxygen and nitrogen, electrons are shared equally by both atoms. In carbon dioxide, each carbon-oxygen bond is polar, but the two dipoles are oppositely directed and cancel each other. The movement of the molecules from the disordered gas phase into the aqueous solution constrains their motion and the motion of water molecules, and therefore represents a decrease in entropy. The non-polar nature of these gases and the decrease in entropy when they enter solution combine to make them very poorly soluble in water. The hydrophobic effect is critical in the folding of proteins and the self-assembly of biological membranes. Water is also nucleophilic in nature. Electron-rich chemicals are called nucleophiles because they seek positively charged or electron-deficient species such as nuclei. Nucleophiles are either negatively charged or have unshared pairs of electrons. They attack positive centers in addition or displacement reactions. Compounds containing oxygen, nitrogen, or sulfur are the most common biological nucleophiles. Water has two unshared pairs of electrons and therefore is nucleophilic. Although water is a relatively weak nucleophile, its cellular concentration is so high that many biological compounds such as polymers could be degraded by nucleophilic attack by water. An example is the degradation of protein by water, catalyzed by the proteolytic enzymes. In such a reaction, such as hydrolysis, the protein is eventually degraded to its monomeric units, that is amino acids. Water also undergoes ionization. Among the properties of water that are important to the life of a cell is the slight tendency of water to ionize. Pure water contains not only H2O but also a low concentration of protons and an equal concentration of hydroxide ions. Water in a pure state has a neutral pH. As a result, pure water is neither acidic nor basic. Water changes its pH when substances are dissolved in it. Rain has a naturally acidic pH of about 5.6 because it contains natural derived carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. Weak acids only partially dissociate when dissolved in water. Now, I will discuss some of the importances of water to plant life. Of all the resources that plants need to grow and function, water is the most abundant and at the same time the most limiting for agricultural productivity. The fact that water is limiting is the reason for the practice of crop irrigation. Water availability likewise limits the productivity of natural ecosystems. The significance of water to the life of the higher plants can be emphasized best by enumerating some of its functions. Number one, it is a major constituent of protoplasm. The hydration of the protoplasm is essential for its proper organization and correct functioning of the cell organelles. Number 2, water is the solvent for plant absorption and transportation. It is the solvent in which mineral nutrients enter a plant from the soil solution. Also, water is the solvent in which mineral nutrients are transported from one part of the cell to another and from cell to cell, tissue to tissue, and organ to organ. Number 3, water is used for the chemical and biochemical processes supporting plant metabolism. The plant uses sunlight to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen then uses carbon dioxide in the air to make sugar. Plants use oxygen to burn sugar and make energy for life processes. Number 4, water present in the vacuoles and the cytoplasm helps in maintaining the rigidity of cells. Well-watered plants keep their shape because of the internal pressure of water in the cells called turgor pressure. When there is insufficient water, the pressure drops and causes the plant to wilt. This pressure is also essential for plant cell expansion, which leads to plant growth. Number 5, water balances plant temperatures. Plants continuously absorb and lose water. Most of the water lost by the plant evaporates from the leaf as the carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis, that is absorbed from the atmosphere. Such water loss is called transpiration. Number 6, that is water regulates the opening and closing of stomata, which in turn regulates transpiration and photosynthesis. If too little water is available to the root system, the plant will reduce the amount of water loss through transpiration. This causes reduced photosynthesis because the necessary carbon dioxide enters the plant through the stomata. Decreased photosynthesis results in decreased crop yield. I end my today's talk with this note that water, that is the important chemical substance, is made of 2 hydrogen atoms covalently attached to a single oxygen atom. The water is important for life on earth due to its unusual physical and chemical properties. Thank you.